Vaishnavi and I have got something very interesting for you today. It's not chemistry, but it's Indian science, old Indian tradition. All of you know about the solar system, right? Solar system ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಏನು? The sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ solar system. This is our home. Especially Earth, the planet we live in. We have discovered various planets around Earth and our star, the Sun also. This has been named as the solar system, which is present in the Milky Way galaxy. Yes, the solar system consists of 8 planets and 1 sun, and the planets are revolving around the sun. Let me show you a 3D model of the solar system. Look at the model. The one that is luminous is the sun. You can see all the planets revolving around it. They have also shown our Earth here, which is rotating as well as revolving. It does not only apply to the Earth. All the planets rotate around their own axis and revolve around the sun. These planets are situated in their particular orbits. The radii of the orbits vary as the planet goes on being farther from the sun. Mercury is the nearest planet to the sun. Its radius is smaller compared to the Venus and the rest others. On the third place comes our home planet, that is the Earth. After Earth, we have Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. The planets Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars are called as the inner planets. The planets Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune are called the outer planets of the solar system. Other than the planets, solar system ಒಳಗಡೆ planets ಬಿಟ್ಟು there are a lot of things. There are asteroids, there are comets, there are stars. There is an asteroid belt between the Mars and the Jupiter shown in this purple line. There are also cosmic rays which are being emitted from the sun and reach all the planets. This is nothing but light. Yes, sun gives us heat and light. Heat and light are the forms of energy. Surya namge ಏನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾನ? Heat ಮತ್ತು light ಕೊಡ್ತಾನ. ಈ heat ಮತ್ತು light in a straight line it travels to all the planets. Coming to rotation and revolution, as I have shown in the model, rotation is a phenomenon wherein the planet rotates about its own axis. All planets spheres ava. Do you know what is a sphere? All the planets are spheres. These spheres have an imaginary axis which is defined and rotate around their own axis. Planets ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ ತಮ್ಮ axis ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ rotate ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ. In the same way, they also revolve around the sun continuously. ಈ planets ತಮ್ಮ ಸುತ್ತ ತಾವು ತಿರುಗ್ತಾ sun ಸುತ್ತಲೂ ತಿರುಗ್ತಾವ. In this way, our solar system works. Now, let us come to the Earth as we live on it and we can experience different phenomena. The first phenomenon, day and night. ಎದಕ್ಕಪ್ಪ ಹಗಲು ರಾತ್ರಿ ಎದಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತದೆ? It is due to the rotation of the sun. Okay? Rotation of the sun ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ rotation of the earth. Rotation of the earth ಅಂದ್ರೆ earth ತನ್ನ axis ಮೇಲೆ ತಿರುಗ್ತಿರ್ತದೆ. ಈಗ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಅರ್ತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಒನ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಅದ, ಅಮೆರಿಕಾ ಒನ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಅದ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರೊಟೇಟಿಂಗ್, ಇಂಡಿಯಾದ ಸೈಡ್ ಸನ್ ಕಡೆ ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಒಳಗೆ ನಾವೇನ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ? ಡೇ ಲೈಟ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಡೇ. ಅಮೆರಿಕಾ ಆ ಟೈಮ್ನಾಗ ನೈಟ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಒಳಗಿರ್ತದೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಇನ್ ಅಮೆರಿಕಾ. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ನೋಟ್, ದ ಸನ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ರಿವಾಲ್ವ್. ದ ಸನ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಹ್ಯೂಜ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್. ಸನ್ ಒಂದ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅದ. ಬಟ್ ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವು? Rotate and revolve around the sun. Why do planets revolve around the sun? Because of the gravitational force exerted by the sun. Gravitational force ಅಂದ್ರೇನು? ಗುರುತ್ವಾಕರ್ಷಣ ಶಕ್ತಿ. ಈ ಗುರುತ್ವಾಕರ್ಷಣ ಶಕ್ತಿ sun as a star, as a big huge mass ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದ? ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ತನ್ನ ಕಡೆ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತದ. But these planets do not collide with the sun. There is one more force called as the centrifugal force which balances it. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಪೇಪರ್ ಪೀಸ್ ತಗೋತೀರಿ, ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಕಲ್ಲು ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಿ. ಆ ಪೇಪರ್ನಾಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೋಲ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತದೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೆಂಟ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತದೆ. Now if you roll a marble like this, the marble will go round, 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 round and fall into the hole with the stone. Correct? In the same way, gravity works. Space olaga, imagine an empty dark area which is called as space. This empty dark area olaga enaagtada, sun is a huge mass. This sun huge mass iddadrinda, it takes some space. It is matter. What is matter? Go back to your 5th standard. Matter is nothing but anything that occupies space and has a mass. So, this matter irodrinda, it makes all these small planets, revolve around it. But as they are rotating, revolving in circular orbits, there is something called as centrifugal force which is balancing it from outside. Andre nanu ikkadu jagatini. So, the planet is not colliding with the sun and it is not leaving the orbit also. So, ee one paddhati mele nam solar system nadada. Coming to the sun. The sun is a star. The sun has the ability to give heat and light, whereas these planets do not have the ability, because sun olaga there are fusion reactions going on. Sun olaga, the composition of the sun is hydrogen, helium and some other little elements. The hydrogen atoms, as I have told in my previous videos about the periodic table, the first atom hydrogen, the 2 hydrogen atoms combine together to form a helium atom, and in the process lot of heat is released. This heat comes out of the sun and we can experience the heat of the sun in the daylight. Now, planets ಏನವಲ್ಲ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಈ light ಅನ್ನ reflect ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ. These are the bodies which do not have their own source of light. They they reflect the light of the sun and they are visible to us. All the planets have moons around them. Earth has 1 moon, Mars has 2 moons, Jupiter has n number of moons and so on. So these moons are also like planets but smaller in size, and the moons revolve around the planets just like planets revolve around the sun. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು? ನಾನು ಏನೇನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ? I talked about the sun, I talked about the revolution of the planets, rotation of the planets, day and light phenomenon, and how does sun give us all the heat and light we see in our everyday lives, and about the moons, that the moons revolve around the planets because of the gravitational force exerted by the planets. Mass iddidrinda, even planets have got some mass, so they exhibit the proportional gravitational force to the moons, so that the moons are in a particular orbit around the planets. This is a rough idea. Now coming to ancient times, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು? We read in our textbooks etc. There is something called as the speed of light. Light source ನಾನು ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ? Light source is the sun. Sun ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತದ? ನಮಗೆ ಲೈಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತದ. Light has a particular speed. The speed of light is counted in various calculations in the terminology of light years. Light years in the next video I'll describe you guys about it. Coming to the light has a particular speed. This is a very interesting topic. You will be very amazed after listening to this. Light has its own speed and it is defined as 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second. Speed of the light denoted by the letter C. ಇದನ್ನ ನಮಗೆ ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಇಂದ ಮೈಕಲ್ಸನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಬಂತು. We got this particular value. But if you go back to the Indian history, ancient history of India, you will find this particular calculation written in the texts. It was done by a famous sage called Sayanacharya, who was born in Hampi and who lived in the time of Vijayanagara kings. Sayanacharya was a commentator. He used to comment on Vedas. He used to tell Vedas in the local languages to make it easy for the people to understand. Okay, so he was a commentator basically. He gives a shloka which goes something like Yojananam sahasredve dveshate shatayojane ekena nimisharthena kramamana namostute, which means the sun is considered as a god in Hinduism. The god sun, Surya Bhagavan, right? The god sun, it is said that the god sun travels in his chariot throughout the universe, giving light to every single planet and everybody. So the speed of the light was calculated in the above shloka, above verse I told you just now. Yojana is the mode of calculation, like your kilometers, meters, etc., which was used in ancient times. And Nimisha here is not a minute. Nimisha here is the time taken for the blink of an eye. Now I blink my eye like this. This is nothing but a Nimisha. It says the sun travels 2202 yojanas in half a Nimisha. Half a Nimisha. Means 1/10 of a second. Right? If you calculate yojana, if you convert it into meters and kilometers and Nimisha in seconds, you will get the exact value of the speed of light, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8. But unfortunately, this was not noticed, and whenever we talk about the speed of light, the Western world comes in picture. Thus, Indian texts have a lot of information if studied properly, calculated properly. Our sages had high powers, our sages could imagine in much better way, and if we also start reading all these texts, Vedas, for our scientific information also, we will get a lot of information from these. So here was a basic idea about solar system, and one interesting fact that our Indian sage, or you can call him a scientist, has given us based only on imagination and not on any experiments. This is a fact to be proud of, and we'll be continuing much more information in my next video. Till then, stay safe. Namaskaram.